She's a gypsy, and her name is Storm, and she's with us on the Zoom all the way from Atlanta. And apparently she's in a bedroom. Well, she just told me that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Spare bedroom.
Spare, you've got a spare bedroom. Lonnie.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. You don't get to say yeah a lot in America, do you?
I don't. People don't understand me when I do.
Yeah, you say yeah in America, they don't know what you're talking about. In fact, if you use proper English in America, they don't know what you're talking about. But that's just my opinion. All right, Storm, welcome to Zone Radio. It's good to have you along. I've already got a question on the WhatsApp for you, which we will come to in a moment. But that song's called Gypsy, and it's rather appropriate because you kind of lived everywhere. I mean, is there any place that you've been able to settle down?
I guess America. We've been here for about 8 years now. We moved from SA when I was about 5 to China, and then to Germany, and then Hungary, and we've been here for the past 8 years now. So
Germany and Hungary. That would have been good. I don't know about Hungary, but Germany's certainly got a rich music culture.
Yes, they do. I mean, Hungary does too. I don't know much about Hungarian music, but yes, Germany, and especially a rich rock culture in Germany.
Yeah, somebody earlier on requested a Rammstein to be played on Zone Radio. No, not nice. That's a noise posing as music.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, for an old sod like me. All right, so tell us the story. Tell us what's going on in your life. And we're going to talk about the rhino poaching. We're going to do all of that because I know you're interested in that. We're going to talk about that now. But tell us the story about this song in particular because it kind of reflects your life, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I wrote Gypsy about 2 years ago with an artist called Matt Hundley in Nashville. It just came to me, the little dare, that little lick. I started playing that and I was like, this sounds kind of like a highway. So I ran with that theme. And at that point I was listening to a lot of Greta Van Fleet, who Highway Tune was a big inspiration for this song. Yeah. So that came along and I was like, let me just write a song about all the places I've lived. I mean, because I've lived a lot of places, and every time somebody asks me or my mom about our accents, I know I don't have much of an accent, but
you have enough of an accent.
I have enough of an accent. I always have to go, through the whole spiel about, oh, here, there, I'm from this, so I was like, let me write a song about it.
When do people ask you that a lot? Like, where do you come from and why do you sound like you do?
Yes, quite often.
So why don't you just write a song called Mind Your Own Effing Business, and then that'll solve all the problems.
I'm not gonna lie, I think it adds to my character and to the interest, and it's like a bragging right. Like, I've lived in these places, I mean, I don't want to like shove it in people's faces, but I don't mind telling people where I'm from. It's fun, it's fun.
I'm a globetrotter.
I am, yes, I am a globetrotter.
All right, let's have a look at some of the questions. I have a question. This question came from, I'm not too sure, no name. Question for Storm: how are you dealing with an emerging artist during this? Oh, I'm guessing how you're dealing as an emerging artist in this difficult time.
Lots and lots of email blasts about my music to different radios. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very thankful to my mom for helping me with that, because I have work and school, but writing songs, just trying to get in to the studio whenever I can, and just trying to keep radio stations and review sites hearing about me, and hopefully writing about me or playing my music.
And your mom is helping you with this?
Yes.
She sounds cool. What's her name?
Phoebe.
Phoebe.
Bridget. She is very cool. My dad, he helps a lot too, but in terms of monetary wise, but yeah, no, my mom does most of the sort of email campaign stuff, which I'm very thankful for.
Tell her we're also thankful, because I'm guessing she was the one that sent us the song. So thank you for that, Phoebe. Take a bow. Here's another question. He says, Clinton says, why is her voice like that if she comes from SA? Well, Clinton, you need to listen. She was born in South Africa, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
She then moved to Germany.
To China first. And
then
first
Germany. To China. She first went to China, and then she went to Germany.
Mm-hmm. And then
she went to Hungary, and then she went to the United States of America, where she's been living for how many years?
About 8 years now.
About 8 years. Okay. So you work it out, Clinton. You work it out. All right. Why all the travel?
My dad's work. I mean, you know, he works for Mercedes, so we jump around. And whenever he's like, "Hey, there's a project in so and so, you guys interested?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, why not?" You know.
So off he goes, and he moves around the world. All right. Well, that's a nice job working for Mercedes. They're not doing too badly in the Formula One, aren't they?
I don't know much about the Formula One rankings.
Not like they've lost many races, believe me. All right.
That is true.
Yeah, they won a few.
That's right.
All right, here's another question. What inspires you to write any particular song?
That is a tricky question. I mean, sometimes I will force myself to sit down and write a song and just go where it takes me. Other times I'll be walking and something will just hit me, a melody, an idea. Sometimes somebody can say a phrase and I'll be like, that's cool. I can write about this. You know, it really just depends.
Where do you start? You start with the phrase, you start with the melody. How does it work for you?
I typically like to start with the chord progression and then go from there. If I hear a phrase that inspires me, then I'll go with that phrase, but I'll generally write the chord progression first and then take the melody from there.
All right. Now, talking chord progressions, that can happen on many instruments, and you do play many instruments. You play guitar, you play drums. What else do you do?
I play bass, dabble a little bit in keyboard or piano, but not much. Guitar is my main instrument, though.
All right. Now, are you still at school? You said to me you've got to go to school. Are you still at school?
I'm in university.
Okay, what do you study?
Musical theater.
Oh, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. When last were you back in South Africa?
A year or two ago. We come visit we try visit family, you know, every 1 to 2 years if we can. With quarantine, obviously now flights and stuff not working out, but yeah, we try visit as often as we can.
And you get to perform here when you do?
No, I actually have not performed. I mean, besides for my family, but I have not performed anywhere in SA yet.
So really in South Africa, you're pretty much an unknown quantity, aren't you?
Unfortunately.
Well, that can change. That can change. How many radio stations have played you?
Quite a few, actually. I did an interview with West Coast not too long ago. I had a little Galore essay put me on their website. So, you know, we're breaking the South African market slowly. I know I'm a little heavier in terms of music style for the SA market, but I have a few stuff in the works that is definitely more geared towards that, you know.
Oh, no, I don't think that you're heavy at all. I mean, we've got some real heavies here, believe me. But I don't think that, I would say you're pretty melodic by comparison to a lot of the South African acts that
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't make an excuse for being heavy at all. I think that there's a place for everything, even Rammstein, except when I play them on the computer, it thinks it's got a virus. So, no, I don't think you're heavy at all. Do you lean towards that kind of thing?
I mean, Gypsy is definitely a lot, is not as heavy as my previous single, which is called Centerville. That one's a heavy rock single. Gypsy is definitely more of a country rock vibe. So I definitely lean towards rock, but like I said, inspiration will hit me. And if I write a pop song, well, then I write a pop song. I listen to all sorts of music. I don't want to put myself in one box.
So you're not a slave to the genre?
No. I like to call myself genre fluid.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. One of my favorite musicians of all time, and probably somebody you may or may not know, Sean Phillips. And if you don't know Sean Phillips, do yourself a favor, look up an album called Second Contribution, put your headphones on and lock yourself away, because it'll be one of the most amazing musical experiences you'll ever have. But you can't put him in the box either. So there's nothing wrong with not being in a box at all. All right. Were there any other questions here? I'm just looking at the WhatsApp here. It takes a while sometimes for this WhatsApp to refresh. Okay. Now, let's focus on something that's going to quite interesting. You know that we've got this magazine. We sent you the magazine when we replied to your song. By the way, send us the heavy one. We'll put it on the radio and see how it goes. Don't be shy. Do that.
Will do.
Well, tell your mom to send it. Okay.
Okay.
Ask mom to help out here.
Mom.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't have a lot of patience for some of that stuff. I will help her out, obviously, and then like write the email campaigns, but whew.
No.
I like the music aspect, you know?
Tell mom and I are in sync here. We'll get it done. Okay.
Cool.
Let's talk about, so we sent you the magazine, and immediately you replied to us saying you would like to write and would like to be featured in the magazine for something quite special, and it had very little to do with this song, Gypsy. It had to do with something you're quite passionate about, and that is rhinos. Talk to us a little bit about that. And I know that you and Judy are talking on the magazine front. I'm sure that the two of you are communicating, but just tell us about why you want to do this.
Well, I am a big supporter of animal rights and protecting animals, from, you know, a little flea to big things like rhinos. You know, we have 4 rescue cats. We rescue them off the street or go to the shelter and adopt them, all sorts of things. So when we're in South Africa, we always try to fit in a safari, because South Africa has amazing wildlife, just stunning wildlife. And rhinos are sadly disappearing because of all the poaching. So my mom and I kind of wrote the song together, actually, because we're both very passionate about it. It's called Ghost. I will be going into the studio next week to record it, actually, in Nashville. And then also next week, we'll be shooting a little promotional video for it, just, you know, a 30-second little clip. We're working in cahoots with Rooting for Rhino, and an artist called Nathan Sannon, who's painting a big canvas of a rhino that we are going to auction off to donate that money to Chip and Bearer Rhino Foundation to help with, you know, anti-rhino poaching stuff, and just spread awareness about it, you know.
Where's Nathan from?
He's from South Africa.
Is he? Okay, cool. So this is, and are you going to be outside of Zone Radio and the magazine that we're using? Just incidentally, folks, that magazine, we may be a little radio station at the southern tip of Africa. In fact, I would actually argue that we're probably the most southern radio station. I never thought of that, because we write in Kommetjie. I don't know if you know remember much about South Africa, but right by Cape Point. We're quite Cape Point. I'm sure that we are the most southern radio. I didn't think about that. Anyway, so we may be a little radio station just here at the southern tip of Africa, and we have this magazine that we circulate, and has a lot of content in it. But it circulates to around between 50 and 60,000 people. So the message will get out there, and we hope that we can help in any way to make sure that that message gets out and what you're trying to do. Also looking forward to the song. We'll certainly put that song on the radio and make sure that people hear it, and people understand why it is that the song was recorded and the purpose of it all. So I think that's a very, very admirable thing that you are doing.
Thank you. Especially
for somebody who's hardly even lived in this country, but you understand that rhinos are an African problem, not a South African problem.
I would argue that it's a global problem.
Go on.
You know, I mean, any animal going extinct is just heartbreaking, whether, you know, you're a tiger or I don't want the world to lose the sight of a rhino. I don't want Africa specifically to lose its horn, but I think everybody around the world should, you know, have the privilege of seeing a rhino, whether it's just on TV and, you know, in their full glory.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to see one in its full glory, and they are incredible beasts. They really are
They are.
amazing. And we were talking today. I was chatting to some friends. I very often, on a Wednesday, I have a regular coffee with a friend of mine who owns a paint shop here called Paintsmiths, quite close to the studio. And today, in particular, we were talking about wildlife and the way that it is so majestic, and how it is that an elephant can stroll through the jungle and know that you can't touch me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the wiliness of our hyena, the cunningness of cheetahs and leopards, the impishness of monkeys in the trees,
Right.
right down to chameleons, who are an animal that people just don't see enough of. So you keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep supporting what you are doing. All right.
Thank you.
What got you into music? Why did you decide this path? Because it's not an easy path.
No, it is not. I don't know. I started playing piano or taking piano lessons when I was a kid, and I quit piano, unfortunately, to pursue guitar because I was like, that's cool. That's a cooler instrument. And when MTV used to play music videos, you know, I would sit there and watch, like, when they would play Guns N' Roses, you know, I'd play air guitar along with Slash and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to be just an awesome, badass musician like that. It's just something that's, I guess, has always been in my bones. I don't really know how else to explain it other than that.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Nope, an only child.
Only child and 4 cats. Okay.
Yeah, 4 cats.
4 cats. Your mom and dad, are they musical?
My mom is musical. She sings. She actually does a lot of theater with me too. We've been in some shows together, musicals. She actually owns her own theater company, so get it from there. My dad likes to watch. He enjoys watching them.
You're talking about the theater stuff, because we got to qualify.
And listening to music. He's not quite as musical, but he does love listening and to it and watching shows and stuff like that. So my mom's definitely the more musical side of the family.
It must be terribly rewarding for both parties, for you and also for your mother, because I'm pretty sure that I'm sure it causes its friction from time to time, but in the main, I'm guessing that it causes an incredible bond between a mother and a daughter when they've got this something in common that they can work on and talk to that.
Well, actually, when we first moved to America and we found a theater company that puts on musicals, my mom wanted to audition for it. The first show was Mary Poppins, and she was begging me to audition with her, and I had terrible stage fright, and just I was like, I can't sing well. I'll watch you and I'll support you and I'll help out.
Me and Dad, we'll be in the back there. Me and Dad.
Yeah, we'll be in the back. We'll move set pieces or whatever. We'll watch you on stage. But I was terrified, even though I wanted to be on stage. Something was holding me back, and so she kind of introduced me to that theater company, and held my hand through it and pulled me through till eventually I auditioned for a show and had a blast. And I think we only got to be in one show together, which was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And then, unfortunately, our characters weren't really interacting on stage, but just, being able to share that experience was great.
I think it's absolutely amazing. It really is. Now, work-wise for a musician, I don't want to, how do I put this? A lot of South African musicians, and I don't want to belittle anybody here, but a lot of South African musicians who have some talent have these stars in their eyes and say, look, I must get out of here. I must go to Europe. I must go to the UK. I must go to America, because that's where I'm going to make it. And sometimes they forget that right on their doorstep is the ability or the market to make it. And then when they get across to United States of America, they get across to Europe, they find that it's a little bit different than what they anticipated. And it's clearly a case of the grass is greener on the other side. Not for all, but for a lot. And they come back rather dejected. And sometimes we even lose those people to the music industry because they are so put down by the experience. How have you found the American market? Do you find that because you had this broader based experience worldwide, that it was easier for you, or have you found it just as tough as anybody else performing as an independent artist in America?
No, I think it's pretty tough. I've actually had a lot more success being played on the radios in South Africa or in the European market, actually. The American market is definitely, it's very broad in terms of the genres that they play, but in terms of radios, they like a lot of mainstream artists or artists that have labels, you know, and that's very tough. I have, you know, been played on a few radio stations here, but definitely a lot more success in foreign markets. It is tough though.
And performance-wise, live performance-wise?
Performance-wise, with quarantine and Corona right now, it's all kind of just, you know, venues are they're still unsure of how they want to go about it, especially like if people need to bring in their own gear, if you know, because you can't sing on the same mic as somebody else's song. So it's very much just all up in the air right now. It's slowly starting to come back, and I've reached out to a few local places to hopefully perform, but you know, Corona's kind of just screwed everything up right now.
Look, it's I think it's screwed up everything in America. It's going to certainly screw up the elections, and some interesting stuff happening, and you're sort of in the heart of it there, because isn't that the home of CNN Atlanta? You're right there where all the news is happening. And I saw a photograph of you with Avril Lavigne. Did you perform with her? Is it just an encounter that you had? What was that?
Oh, that was just a meet and greet. I would hopefully love to perform with her one day. She's one of my all-time favorite artists. That was 2013, I think, that I met her. She was performing, she was on her tour with the Backstreet Boys, and it was my birthday present for the meet and greet. So that was fun.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm sure that I always say that did you get an autograph?
Yes, I did. I actually have it framed and stuff in my room, hanging up. So
now, if I was you, did you give her your autograph?
No.
No, you should have done that.
Actually, at that point in time, I wanted to be a musician, but I hadn't really gone in pursuit. Like, I hadn't really gotten into songwriting and recording yet. So it was still very much, you know, 13-year-old me trying to figure out who and what I wanted to be.
You should have just signed it there and said, listen, hang on to that. You never know. One day it's going to be worth something, and I think that it is. It's been amazing chatting to you. It really has been. And I wish you all the success. All of our listeners here at Zone Radio right behind you, and so is this radio station. The fact that you're going to be featured in the magazine means that there's some longevity in the relationship. And I'm looking forward to, now I'm counting. I'm looking for the heavy song that you said you're going to send me, and then the new one about the rhino. So tell Mother I'm expecting 2 emails, okay?
All Got it. Will do.
And we will nag you if you don't. Do you have any sort of family and friends that you want to say hi to in South Africa?
Yeah, sure. Hello, Granny and Auntie Shaz, and my favorite little cousin, Kana. Thank you guys for listening, and I love you lots.
Well, there we go. Storm, I think that you're a remarkable young lady. I think that your parents are absolutely remarkable. And
yes, they are.
And you're an incredible talent. So I want to tell you to keep on keeping on, and don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. If you ever are able to get out of America and come and visit,
right?
And you happen to be in the Western Cape, come on down to the Deep South, Sun Valley. And I'm sure, I'm thinking about this. I'm sure that we are the most southern radio station on the continent. I must check that. I'm going to get out. I'm going to get somebody who understands these things to explain it to me. Anyway, come down to the southern tip of Africa and come and visit us in the studio. We'd love to have you here. We'd love to put you in the chair there with a guitar and let you sing to your heart's content here on Zone Radio. And it will be an absolute honor. But thank you for your time this afternoon. Well, what is it? Early morning there where you are?
It is 10:37 right now.
Okay, that's not that bad.
So not too early, you know.
No, not that bad. I mean, you were awake. It's not like we had to wake you up.
Yes, I'm awake.
Okay, all right. It's hard to tell, but I'll take your word for it. Listen, we love you lots. Take care of yourself. Love to your folks, and keep on keeping on. We'll send you a copy of this recording. It'll also go on the YouTube, and there will be a podcast that you can refer your family and friends to as well. But we'll send you all that information later on.
Will do. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very, very welcome. We're going to play out again because we've only got the one. Hopefully in time we're going to have 3. But for now, we've only got the one song. Her name is Storm. She's incredible. She's lived all over the world. She wrote a song about it. It is called Gypsy. You take care of yourself. We're very proud of you. Okay?
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.